What's up, Rockstars? Coach Betty Rocker here. Thanks for joining me for this posterior chain focused workout. Your posterior chain just refers to the muscles along the back side of your body. So like your hamstrings, calves, glutes, back, and these muscles all work together with the front side of our body to stabilize and support us as we're walking, doing daily tasks. And they're also really important for our posture and alignment. So we're gonna be targeting them today in this approximately 30-minute workout. Now, all you'll need for today's workout is some space to move, maybe an elevated surface like an ottoman, side of your couch, a chair, a bench if you're in the gym. And we're gonna use some weighted objects. So whether you've got dumbbells or you're even working with a barbell, that's fine too. I'm gonna do some hamstring curls today. So you could use something as simple as your socks on the floor, sliding your heels in and out, or anything that's slippery on the surface you're using. Or you can use an exercise ball as an option, totally optional. All right, we're gonna get right into this workout with some sumo squats to a high pull row. So you could grab a single weight or two weights, and we're just gonna squat and pull our arms up and back. Now I'm gonna give you like a 10 to 15 rep range for this one because it's really about that back pull row and warming up in those legs. So stand tall, bring those shoulders back and down, and let's squat it down, bringing the weights down in front of us as if we were doing a conventional deadlift. So they're in close to our shins, core is braced, back is straight. And as we come up, we're gonna drive our elbows back behind us. Really important as you come up to stay braced through that core. Come up straight as an arrow. Don't arch your back or lean back. I want you to really protect your back. I want you to engage your glutes as you pull up and back with those arms. Nice. Remember to keep that core braced as you come down and don't bend over at the waist. We're keeping our chest fairly upright here. Nice work. Powerfully drive those elbows back. Great job. When you get to about the end of your set and you feel like, oh, I don't know if I want to do anymore, be sure to safely set your weights down by bending your knees, keeping them in close to your body before placing them back on the ground. That one got my heart rate up a little bit. How'd you like it? Give yourself a quick breather, and then we're gonna turn up the volume with our next move even more. Just having some of my Rock and Restore aminos with some bonus collagen and creatine in the mix just to replenish me. Now, move number 2 is a split squat. Great single leg move to really develop and strengthen your legs. So you can do this one with one foot elevated on something behind you, either with your toe up or your foot flat. We're gonna come down and come up. Now, if you don't have something elevated or it doesn't feel good to you, you can also do this in a lunge position with your back foot down on the ground. So whichever variation is right for you today, you can take that. We're gonna work in an 8 to 12 rep range. That means the weight you use will enable you to get at least 8 reps, but not be able to go past 12 very easily. So you can play around with that. We're gonna set it up and just check to see how far away you want to step. I had to make a small adjustment there. See where the right spot is that will allow you to squat it down on your first side and then come straight back up. A lot of balance is required for this move. It's a challenging one. So remember, it's okay to work on this in a lunge position with your foot down on the floor as you're getting started. Make sure you keep your core nice and braced. Keep those hips nice and square as you work through this. And really control the descent as you're coming down. And then powerfully press the earth away with your foot as you come back up. Try to stay light through your front toes as you're working your way through this, and you're not pressing forward onto the toes. I'm gonna switch sides now, but it's okay if you switch before me or even after me. We're each gonna be sort of subject to the amount of weight we chose, right? So see how you feel. And I just want you to have the same number of reps on both sides. Work on keeping that pelvis square, not letting your hip roll to one side. Don't let your shoulders creep forward. It would be fine if you wanted to have your weights up on your shoulders for this move too. You don't have to just hold them at your sides. See what feels the most comfortable. Great work. Whew. I am feeling this with you, my friends. When you get to the top of your rep range and it's tough to do any more reps, you're gonna once again bend the knees, safely setting your weights down on the floor. Catch your breath after that one. Those were tough. Probably one of the toughest moves in this workout today. I love it. Thanks for doing it with me. We're gonna move on to some calf raises next, so give yourself a quick break, catch your breath. Have yourself some water or some Rock and Restore aminos if that's what you're drinking, and consider your calf raises. Now the calf raise, we'll do this in an 8 to 12 rep range as well, but feel free, if you just don't have options for the weight that I'm suggesting, to do a different rep range. You can do more reps than I'm suggesting just to fatigue your muscles. And then as you have more options, you can go a little heavier. Another option for this one, if you don't have anything heavy enough, is to do single side calf raises. That's also one that I'll show you soon. Let's start with the regular calf raises. So we're holding our weights either at our sides or up on our shoulders. We have good form. Our chest is upright. Our shoulders are back. Our head and neck are in a nice neutral position. And all we're doing is lifting and lowering those heels. Now, if you feel nice and stable here and balanced, but you're like, the weight is easy, you could try lifting up and pausing at the top before lowering back down. Or, like I mentioned before, you could switch to a single side calf raise. And the single side calf raise, typically I would just kickstand one toe in front of me and then just do all of the work on a single side. You can also wrap your foot behind your other calf and hold on to something, but then I can't hold two dumbbells, so I like the kickstand version. Now when you get to the top of your rep range with those calf raises and it's a struggle to do any more reps, set your weights aside, and we're gonna go back to the top of that entire circuit and do it again, starting with those high pull rows with the sumo squat. So take a breather. When you're done with your calf raises, safely set down your weights, have yourself some more water, do a stretch, whatever feels good. And we will get right into our next set of high pull rows. So again, here's one where we're really gauging the amount of resistance by the row. So we're gonna be in a higher rep range for this, 10 to 15 reps, just to let our body get some fun movement in without very heavy weight. So choose accordingly. We wanna really focus on our form, as this is a somewhat dynamic movement, stepping the feet out, a little wider than hip distance, shoulders come back and down, and we're gonna squat it down, setting our hips back, keeping the back straight, weights are in close to our shins, and then as we come up, we're driving those elbows back behind us. Good. Nice. We're not leaning back, we're coming up straight as an arrow. It might help to squeeze your glutes at the top or just check in with your core as you're coming up. Nice work. Count your reps, see how you're doing, see where you're at, right? Just because I say a rep range doesn't mean that you have to do that exact rep range. It's just a suggestion to help you choose amount of weights that will get you in that specific zone. But hey, we're working out and it's all about that all or something, right? You got this. Line yourself up each time you come back down, each time you come up. Last one for me. Whew. And when you're done, be sure to set aside your weights safely, bending the knees, keeping them in close to your body. Whew. Gotta catch my breath after that. We're gonna do our second set of the split squats next. So check in with yourself. How'd your first set feel? Did you wanna go heavier? Was it just right? We did an 8 to 12 rep range in that first set. That's a great range to be in for your second set, or if you want to challenge yourself a little more, maybe you're a little more advanced, more comfortable with heavier weight, try a 6 to 10 rep range for your second set. Either way, let's choose our resistance and dial in our form. So we're going to first Find our position with a single leg elevated behind us or simply behind us on the floor. We're going to test to see how far away our foot needs to be from the other foot as we come down, coming into a 90-degree bend at the knee. Once again, checking in with that shoulder alignment, and then we're pressing the earth away from us with our foot. So see if you can be light through your toes as you work on this. Nice job. Breathe in and out. Keep your back nice and straight. Beautiful work. So strong. I know that this one's tough. That's why we're doing it. Woo, these are tough with your foot just on the floor. Oh my gosh. When you get to the top of your rep range on your first side, which might be before or after me, not a competition, we're just working out together, challenging ourselves, you'll switch it to the other side. One thing I would request is that you check in to make sure that that knee, as it bends, is not shooting past your front toe. Nothing wrong with your knee going past your toe and normal stuff that you do. But the way that we're loading the weight today, I want you in this position where your knee is aligned above your ankle and we're not thrusting it forward. So we're really targeting the glutes, hammies, and a little bit the quads here as well. Great job. When you get to the top of your rep range and you've evened out your reps on both sides, whew, set those weights down safely, take a breather, and we'll move into our calf raises, round 2. Oh my gosh, awesome job. Whew. Those posterior chain muscles don't work by themselves, right? They work with the front body muscles, with the side body muscles. So everything together works to help us stay upright and stable. So I absolutely love targeting the back body muscles because sometimes in our day-to-day life, they just don't get enough attention, right? We're doing stuff with our front body muscles because we see in front of us. When you're ready, go ahead and set up for your calf raises. Maybe you want to try a single side variation this round, be my guest, or you can do both feet on the ground, repping them out just like this, or maybe you want to try pausing at the top. I like to do 1001, 1002, 1003. That does require a lot of balance, but that's part of what we do here in the Betty Rock U-verse is we help you build a strong core and help you get more balanced. So keep up the great work. Practicing stuff like this is exactly what will fire up those little intrinsic stabilizing muscles and help you develop that core strength. Great job. When you get to the top of your rep range with your calf raises and can't do any more reps with this good form, you can safely set your weights aside, bending those knees. Why do I ask you to keep the weights in close to your body? It's because we want to protect that back. Just like when we do deadlifts, we want to keep the weight in close to our body as we come up and down with heavy weight. Protects the back, helps us engage that core. We're going to move back to the beginning of this circuit and start again with the sumo squat to the high pull row. This is your last set. If you're happy with the amount of resistance you've been using, definitely keep using it. If you want to change something, be my guest. We're going to step our feet out wider than hip distance. Bring those shoulders back and down in their sockets, keeping them nice and loose and relaxed. And we're going to squat it down, keeping the weights in close to the body. Drive those hips forward as we drive those elbows back. Nice. Beautiful work. You got this. Keep breathing. Don't allow this to be so fast that you lose your form or lose touch with your alignment. It's kind of a give and take, right, between power and stability. Very much a great conditioning move that targets your erector column, those muscles that run up and down your spine, the back of your shoulders, your delts, your mid-back muscles, and of course, your glutes. Nice job. When you get to the top of that rep range, you can set aside those weights. That was the last set for that move. Great work. Whew. We're gonna move into our last set of split squats. Whew. Catch your breath. Rehydrate, replenish. Whew. Love it. So glad that you are doing this with me. Keeping it going. For your split squats, last set, best set. Do you want to challenge yourself with more resistance? Are you happy with the amount you are using? Are you within one of the suggested rep ranges? We are doing either an 8 to 12 rep range or a 6 to 10 rep range. The only difference is that if your amount was going to be 6 reps, you'd need heavier weight to stop you at 6 than you would at 8 potentially. So just play around with that. Both rep ranges are fantastic. We're going to get right to it. So find your start position, stepping 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Bring your body upright. Bring those shoulders back and down. We're going to sink it down to that nice 90-degree bend. Make any adjustments needed with your front foot to help make sure you have enough space to come into your single leg squat. Nice job. Stable through those core muscles and hips, making sure your hips are facing forward, or what we call square. Great job. Bend and straighten. Readjusting as needed. And you might find that it's a little tricky to balance here. It's all part of the challenge, and the fun and the strength that we build comes from the challenge. You're going to switch sides when you get to the top of your rep range, and you can't do any more with good form on that first leg. Let's get it. Stabilizing through those hips. You're going to go to the top of your rep range ability with the weight you chose, and just notice the reps. Great job. Oh my gosh. So strong. You got this. When you get to the top, you can set aside your weights. Whew. Safely bringing them down to the floor. We'll take a quick breather and then move on to our last set of calf raises. Whew. If you're still finishing up that last set, take your time. No need to rush. And you can think about how you want to do your calf raises this time. Maybe you want to try a single side variation, or you want to stick with both feet down, or you want to change the amount of resistance you're using, or you just want to stay with what you've been doing because it's been working for you. You have options. So let's stand tall, bring back those shoulders, brace that core, and we'll lift our heels and then sink them back down. Option, of course, to add the pause at the top of the lift, or we could do the kickstand version where we're lifting and lowering with 1 foot, with using most of the work in that side, kickstanding through the toe of the other foot just for balance. And then of course you'd need to do both sides. It's tough. Yeah. Whew. When you fatigue those calves and you can't do any more reps with good form, please set aside your weighted objects. And we're going to move on to our second circuit. No need to rush though. Of course, if you're catching up, just pause the video and then move on when you're ready. Now, hamstring curls. Choose your variation. I'll go ahead and grab my exercise ball. And of course, you can use sliders as your alternative option. So you're going to come onto your back and set yourself up, getting your feet in position, digging down with your heels, lift up through your hips. And let's do a couple with both feet on our surface, our sliding surface to start with. And then if you feel good there and you feel balanced, you're going to switch and just do one leg at a time. And this single leg version is really challenging and reminiscent of what we did with the split squat. We've got to really work hard with our core to keep our pelvis braced and square and balanced and not let it rotate to one side or the other. So do your best here. Great job. When you can't do any more reps with your first side, you can switch it out and do the other side and even it out. Now, if this isn't working for you, you can stick with both feet down, working on those hamstring curls with both feet at the same time. This single leg variation just adds an additional layer of instability and makes your hamstring work that much harder. So because this is a bodyweight move, you can just do as many reps as you possibly can until you can't do any more. Really dig down through your heels as you're sliding in and out. That's going to activate those hamstrings to the max. And when you're done with your reps, you can take a quick breather. Maybe you want to stretch it out briefly. Give yourself a moment before we move on to our next posterior chain move, which is the deadlift. One of my favorite posterior chain moves that really targets our glutes, really gets our back involved. Hamstrings are helping. So we're doing the stiff-legged deadlift variation, which is a really great variation of the deadlift, and I'm so glad we get to practice it together. So let's go ahead and come on up, grabbing our weight amount that we want to start with. And we've got 3 rounds here, so if you want to be conservative in your first set, that's always a great idea. We're going to stand with our feet about hip distance apart. Bring your shoulders back into their sockets. If you're working with dumbbells, we're going to start with them at our mid-thigh. And as we send our hips back, we're going to graze our shins as we come down to a flat back position. Head and neck are aligned, and then we're going to press our hips forward, standing tall. Send your hips back, brace through your core, and then press your hips forward. If you're using a barbell, you probably started with the bar on the ground, and you're using this exact same motion to pull your bar up along your legs and then slide it back down. Your weight plates are probably hitting the floor, and you are working that deadlift just like this. Great work. So brace your core as you hinge your hips back. I always like to think of a deadlift as if our glutes were a hinge and a door frame. Our back was the door opening and shutting, and our legs were the wall. So you've got this fulcrum point at your glutes, right? And your back has got to be super straight because it's the door. It doesn't bend. It's nice and flat, and we just open and close the door. Nice. When you get to the top of your rep range with those deadlifts, go ahead and set aside your weights. Great job. Bend the knees to safely set them down. Take a quick breather. Awesome work. Whew. Brilliant. Great job. We're going to move back into those single leg hamstring curls, but there's no need to rush. Take your time. Take a quick breather. Remember, your hamstring curls are as many reps as possible. So you get to really work on these, building your strength. And whichever variation that you're taking, it's all good. If you happen to be in the gym with this and you want to do hamstring curls, you could always use a hamstring curl machine, a weighted machine. And you could use one of our rep ranges to help you calibrate how much weight you want to put on that machine. So you'd be in an 8 to 12 rep range maybe, or a 6 to 10 rep range. Either way. Let's set ourselves up here for our slider. So if you're using the ball, dig your heels down, lift your hips. If you are using sliders on the floor or your socks even, same thing. Option to come right into this single leg variation, working to keep that pelvis nice and level. It takes a ton of core strength and stability. So if you need to take a couple of different options or variations, like maybe you put both feet down for a couple reps, then you try 1 or 2 with one leg. That's a great way to build up your strength. We are lifting our lower back off the floor here, and we're just sliding our heel in and away from us, really targeting the hamstring. I'm going to switch sides. Please switch whenever you're ready. You might have switched before me. You can switch after me. I just want you to really fatigue your hamstrings, and you'll know they'll get tired pretty quick. Dig your heels down. That's going to really help you activate those muscles even more to the fullest. Keep up the great work. Even it out. It's okay if you finish before me. It's okay if you finish after me. We're both working to our capacity. As many reps as you can with this one. Great job. Finish strong. set aside any props if you were using them. And again, don't let me rush you if you're still finishing up. Take your time. We've got time to build into our second set of deadlifts. Whew. Really working that back today. Awesome job. Whew. Catch your breath. And we will check in with ourselves on the deadlift. Now, if you were finding that you could do a lot more than 12 reps today with the amount of resistance that you had available, I'll show you the single leg deadlift, which is always an option. And if you were just fine with what you did in the last set, will you stick with that? That sounds perfect. So the single leg variation, I'm going to do the side stance. So we're just going to tap, I'm going to tap my left toe out to the side. I'm going to have my right foot in the same position it would be for the regular deadlift. And we're going to hinge and straighten, just the same way that we did in the first set where we had both feet in the same position. So you can take that variation, or you can switch to this single side variation, and we're going to work both of our legs one by one. Nice work. Grazing your shins with your weights as you come down and then come back up. Awesome job. Keep breathing. And when you get to the top of your rep range on your first side, if you happen to be doing the single side variation, of course, you'll switch it out and even out your reps. If you're using the variation we started with, where you have both feet on the ground, and you will simply work on finishing when you finish, working on being within the rep range that you've chosen to help you pick the right amount of weight. Keep that back flat, keep those shoulders locked in place as you hinge and straighten back up. We never lean back in the deadlift. We come up straight as an arrow. We're protecting our back and we're bracing through the core. When you get to the top of that rep range, you can safely set down those weighted objects. Give yourself a quick breather. Great job. We'll move back into our last set of hamstring curls. So choose your variation, your choice of props or no props at all. Maybe you're just sliding in your socks. It's a variation I've used many times. Great job, Rockstars. Make sure you give yourself enough of a break in between your reps and sets. It's going to really help you with your recovery. Set yourself up for success in this last move, this last set of this move. Bring your back down flat onto your mat. Brace through your core. Use your hands to support you as you lift your hips. And then you're just going to curl in either with one heel down or both heels down, working those hamstrings. Great job. Dig those heels down as you curl. It's going to really help you get everything out of these muscles. Don't forget to breathe. Keep your core braced, keep your hips nice and level as best you can. Remember, this is targeting lots of your balance and stabilizing muscles, and if you're wobbly, that just means you're helping yourself build strength, so don't judge yourself if you don't look perfect doing it. That's not why we do it. Whew. Lower your hips back down when you are done with your first side and reset and get into your second side. Your pace may be different than mine. You might be done before or after me, and it is all good. Keep up the great work, keeping those heels digging down as you drive your foot in and away from you. You've totally got this. Finish it strong, Rockstar. We are almost done with this workout. Whew. So good, so powerful, amazing work. When you get to the top of your rep range and you have evened out both sides, you can come on back up. We're done with that prop for this workout. We're gonna get into our deadlifts. Whew, round 3. Gotta catch my breath after that. Whew. Great job. Now, last set of our deadlifts. Take any of the variations that you like, whether using a barbell, using your dumbbells, you're doing a typical or traditional Romanian deadlift that we started with, where both feet are parallel, or you want to take the side stance deadlift variation, or any variation of the single leg deadlift that you like. Shoulders back, core braced. I'll do the back stance deadlift this time. Just a little variation on the side stance. Some people like the side stance better because I think it's just feels a little more stable, but you still get all the same benefits. This version is how I prepare to do a leg floated version where I lift the back leg. But that's really also really challenging to make the core do a lot of work and balance. So you have a lot of fun options if you want to progress with this move. We just always want to protect our back and build our base first before we get too creative. Ooh. Fun to have some challenges to work on. When you get to the top of your rep range on your first side, you're going to switch it out and work on the other side, getting the same number of reps in as your first side. Great job, rock stars. I'm going to finish this workout strong. Great form, alignment, core strength, posterior chain strength, helping to support us in all of the movements that we do. Be sure to set those weights aside safely with control when you're done. And if you want just a little bonus burner at the end, grab the clock, and we're going to do just a minute of body weight elevated bridge lifts. You can put a weight across your lap if you want to challenge yourself more than that, but I'm just going to really activate my glutes. So coming to a 90-degree bend with the legs, heels are up on an elevated surface. Doesn't really matter how high. Do what's comfortable for you and what you've got access to. I'm going to watch that clock. Starting now. Lift, squeeze, lower. Lift, squeeze, lower. If you want a little bonus challenge in the mix, you can bring your arms up to a cactus position and slide them up overhead as you lift your hips and squeeze at the top. Nice. Keep those elbows, wrists, and shoulders touching the floor even as you slide your arms up and down. That's the real challenge, isn't it? Because what we're doing there is we are strengthening those back muscles, those key stabilizing muscles, training them to work even as we open up our chest and the front of our shoulders. Work on really bracing your core here. So imagine blueberry spine. Before you lift your hips up, you press down with an imaginary blueberry if it was below your lower back before lifting up. That's just going to help you isolate and target your glutes even more. Great job. Last 3, 2, and 1. Oh my gosh. Whew. Amazing job, Rockstar. Thank you so much for joining me for today's workout. Now, this workout is actually part of the Spring into Strength Challenge happening inside Rock Your Life. You could join us anytime and enjoy even more posterior chain workouts like this, plus cover your entire body. And inside Rock Your Life, you will also have access to everything else that we've got for you, like healthy recipes, tons of support from me and the coaches, access to tons of other workouts and challenge programs so that you can progress as you go. And every single challenge has custom options and scheduling for you, whether you're in your cycling years and perimenopause or postmenopause, so that you can get everything out of this and get a great result no matter what life stage you are in. I'd love to welcome you and invite you to participate in the Spring into Strength Challenge or any challenge that strikes your fancy. Join us inside Rock Your Life, and I will see you there. Till then, I'm Betty Rocker, and you are so awesome, blossom, and amazing. Bye for now.